Vamos, boys. Let's go, baby. Let's go, boys. We've done it today. Hold on. We gotta do what we gotta do. You know the drill, boys. When we win titles, we gotta throw the shades on because we've done it. We've done it today. The domestic treble. It's ours. Let's go, baby. I can't believe it. I mean, I can believe it. I'm not necessarily surprised. The game, though, was chaotic as hell. Pretty sure Gerard Martin chokeslammed somebody at the end of it. Not a great thing. I don't really care right now, though, because we have officially won La Liga. It's over. There's nothing Madrid can do about it, or Real Madrid TV, or Florentino Perez, or your mother, or my mother, or Vinny, or Jude, or any of these guys. We are La Liga champions, we're Copa del Rey champions, and we're Super Copa champions. Real Madrid have officially won 0 trophies this year, and I'm happy about it. But let's focus on this game. Let's talk a little bit about it because it wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I think we struggled a lot. I think we were the worst team for most of the game, but not all of it. I think Hansi made the right subs. We turned the game around, and we ended up playing. We ended a game well, and we learned from our mistakes against Inter. I think that was a lot of the story today. I think it was, can we learn from our mistakes? Can we solve some problems that we are obviously have been facing and kind of mainly faced against Inter Milan at the end of that match? And we did. We held the lead for 45 minutes about with added time, and ended up scoring in added time as well. It was beautiful. It was exciting. It was thrilling. It was tense against Espanyol. Always a really tough game because they are the crosstown rivals of Barcelona. We might not feel it as non-Spanish fans, though I know some of you guys are, but there is a lot of beef between the two. As you can see, the game started off really wild where there was actually a car accident, or it wasn't an accident. It seemed like an intentional hit and run where someone drove through Espanyol fans. I don't know if everybody's okay. It seemed a little bad, but it wasn't like he went in there at a high speed. He was like in the middle of all of the fans, and then he drove out, and we saw a lot of the fans on the hood. Hopefully he didn't run any over. I hope everybody is okay with that. That is, more important than this game. That being said, Espanyol came out well. I think they were pressing us well. They were making it difficult for us to connect. We were not connecting, and we were defending terribly. Now, the lineup was a little bit weird, and we'll walk through that as we go. But I don't think they were the best today, and that makes sense because it was Chesney, Martin, Christensen, Araujo, and Garcia. SofaScore does give them all green ratings, bar Araujo, which I think is wrong. I think Chesney was fantastic. Chesney was world-class, made some really good saves, and kept us in this game like Donnarumma did for PSG against Arsenal, and he looked great today. He made a total of only 1 save, which I can't believe, actually, but it was a very good chance and looked very good in the first half. They had 3 big chances in the first half because the high line wasn't working. The Araujo, Martin, Garcia, and Christensen were just not holding it together. And that makes sense because they haven't played together all season. They are all subs. They've been out for one reason or another and are relatively kind of like the B or even C team squad, maybe. And it looked like that today. They weren't able to control the space the way Barcelona normally does. And because of that, this happened. We were conceding a lot of chances. I think Espanyol had 1.2 XG or something like that in the first half. They ended up having let's see what this says, 0.16 XG in the second. That's how much better we were when the changes were made. But Chesney was really good. I'm going to give him like a 9. I really think he was perfect. He came out of the box, maybe a 10. I don't know if he could have done anything better. I'll give him a 10. I do really believe that firmly. Eric Garcia was, again, I think it was hard for all of these guys to work together because, again, it is a full lineup of guys that don't normally play together, and Barcelona relies so much on cohesive positioning that when that's the case, when all these guys are new or not your starters, it's going to be hard for them. Eric Garcia didn't look great looked fine in the first half, but looked great in the second half when changes were made and played center back, shifted from right back to center back, and looked really clean there. Really, really solid. And I'm surprised. I'm impressed by that. I'll give him like a 7.5, even an 8, because of the way he looked at center back. We haven't really seen him there at all this season, and it's cool to see him do pretty well. Araujo, God, I don't think he looked good at all. I'm trying to remember. He ended up he didn't get the yellow card. Christensen got the yellow card, and so did Chesney for time wasting, but good. You know what I mean? That's an improvement on what happened against Inter. So Araujo, though, I don't know. I was just uncomfortable with him and Christensen together. It didn't look great. They were letting space. The guys were getting in behind. That's what led to 3 big chances in the first 45 minutes, which is a lot, especially considering we weren't creating anything off of that. That can usually be looked past if we're scoring. Obviously, we didn't score until the 53rd, so not the best work from him. I'm going to give him probably like a 5, 5.5. I could be missing things. It was a little bit of a chaotic game, so forgive me if I am, but that's what I remember. Christensen looked better in the second half. Didn't look great. Same kind of vein as Araujo, but he came out later. Christensen played until the 77th, and I think they did improve once Cubarsí came on for Ron. And I think Ronald Araujo is going to leave this summer. Just because I feel like there's the space for him isn't really certain. He's not better than Pau or Inigo, and I don't think he wants to be a third center back. I just think that's the case, and he offers a cool profile that we don't have. But the problem is he hasn't been good for Barcelona in the moments that we've really needed him, and he's made good tackles. He has looked good at some points, but he wasn't good against Inter. He wasn't good against PSG last year, and those are the games that we needed him to be good in. And when you fail in the biggest stages, and you're not a starter, and you're worth so much, because I think he could be starter for one of the bigger teams in the world and be a great center back forever. I don't really think he fits here, and I think he's going to go this summer. We'll see what happens, but that is just my prediction here. Christensen, though, fine performance, maybe a 6.5, 7, because I think he did improve going into the second, and when Cubarsí came on, because they were able to organize a little bit better, in my opinion. Martin, it's a little bit all over there. Did nothing going forward, more or less. Tried to put a couple Beckham-esque crosses in there. It did not look like Inter Martin, though, by any stretch of the imagination, and it didn't look great. So he defended okay at times. I felt like it was a little weird in the beginning as well, though. So, and people were getting him behind like crazy. So I can't be that positive to him. I'm going to give him like a 6 as well. And he came off relatively quickly also. Though he came off, he was the first sub. Balde came on for him, and I think Balde looked a lot better. I'm going to give him like a 5, 6, I think is probably around what's fair. Frankie de Jong and Pedri were so good. I thought they were great. I thought they were so good most of this game. They're not respected that well on SofaScore, but I think they were helping move the ball so much better in the second half than in the first. But we're keeping possession when Dani Olmo was losing it. Lamine was even losing it. And Lewandowski and Rafinha, they weren't connecting with one another in a way. I think Pedri and Frankie were healthy. Frankie was putting in really, really good tackles, and Pedri was very dangerous a lot. And at the end of the game, they held the ball. I don't have to explain to you how important that is to know how to do. Now they do. It's a little bit later than I would have liked, but they showed that they can learn in the same way Hansi's team showed that they can change the way they play and be a little bit pragmatic in the way that they play when they played the same way against Monaco earlier in the season when they played super high pressing down a man. They changed that and they were pragmatic in the same way I think they were today. They changed their style. They adapted. They didn't just push like crazy, and they won. They did what they had to do. I think Pedri and Frankie both were fantastic. You guys that follow me on my Instagram, it's at BoblyLou. If you're interested, I made like some glazing edit of him yesterday just because I'm trying to grow my Instagram. But go follow me there. And so I'll give Frankie an 8, 8.5. Pedri, I'll give him an 8.5, 9. I think they were so good today. And I'm not going to say the same about Dani Olmo. I really thought he was struggling to connect with everybody. Did get the assist for Lamine's goal. That is nothing to do with Olmo, though, in my opinion. I really do think Lamine was really good and gave it to him a little bit. Olmo was kind of slow. There were a couple times where I want him to shoot first time or wasn't connecting with everybody really well. I'm going to give him like a 6, 6.5. I really, really am not impressed with him. And apparently City are interested in him. And in the past few games, I've awakened to that a little bit. And I do think I'm willing to let him go. More so than Firmino or Gavi or any of our La Masia guys. I really do think if we can get an offer for 60 for what we paid for him or even a little bit more, let him go. It depends if City can get Wirtz away from Bayern, but they're both in the race for him, so we'll see what happens. If that happens, though, I might be okay with Olmo leaving just because he hasn't looked great in the big games. He's been injured so much, and I think throughout the season he's looked a little bit worse than he did in the beginning when it was very promising. I think he had 5 goals in the first month or two, and it hasn't been great since. Rafinha was better today, I think, especially when Balde came on. Looked a little bit more dangerous, was able to rotate over to Lamine's side, which is not really something he can do reliably when he doesn't have the overlapping support that Balde gives. Wasn't a phenomenal game, but better. 7, I think, is probably fair. Lewandowski, again, similar story where not great. Not great. I think they were having trouble linking up, and then they ended up taking him out and putting Dani Olmo at striker, or the false 9. Yeah, level looked fine. Not great, though. 6, probably. 7 for Rafinha, 6 for Lewandowski. And Lamine, my man of the match, my boy, a goal and an assist today for this kid. So good throughout most of this game, but was playing by himself for a lot of it. Just figured it, found space, finished the ball beautifully, though. For his goal. Probably one of the best finishes I've seen all season. And we've seen a lot from Rafinha, a couple from Lamine, but this was, he saw everything about the talk about João Garcia, the goalkeeper for Espanyol, who's being looked at by Barça, Arsenal, everybody pretty much. And he was like, I'm going to put this ball where not even Sommer could get it. And he did, and it went in, and it won us the league, basically. The Ballon d'Or push for Yamal has to happen. It's his, if it's any Barcelona player, in my opinion. Not to ignore what Rafinha has done, but I think without Balde, his argument has gotten worse. And Pedri's just doesn't have the numbers, the goals and assists that I think are needed right now, because the season has been so, there's not a clear leader in numbers or aura or whatever you need to win those awards. I think Lamine gets it over Pedri. Great today, 9.5, 10 probably. And I think Hansi Flick deserves probably like a 9.5, 10 for making really good subs when we needed them to. They came earlier than the 60th, which are kind of around where he likes to start making his subs, by bringing in Balde at the 45th minute, who I think also looked good. Not perfect, but again, still warming into his game. And I'd like to see him in a game like this where I want to get this league over with, so that we can relax in the next couple matches, and that's exactly what happened. Balde played a pretty good game. Kubarsi played a fantastic game. Fermin Lopez ended up scoring the end goal to put the tie to bed, and I thought it was a fantastic finish. I wanted Fermin to score. I think he's been so good in the past couple of games, and I'm excited to see him play more football. And honestly, I would like to see him start. I would like to see him be that guy, and I'm sure he'll get a lot of minutes when in the next couple matches, but it might also be Pablo Torre. They might want to try him out, and we'll see what happens with Dani Olmo next season, but I'd love to see more of Fermin. I can't let him go. I know he's worth a lot too. He's looked so good, and I cannot see him wear another jersey, man. Him and Gavi have got to be in Blaugrana forever, bro. It's just so clean from them. And Hector Fort came on. I thought he was fantastic as well. We've had our criticisms of these fullbacks. He was really, really, really good today. And then Eric Garcia looked good when he moved over to allow the space for Hector Fort to play right back. And yeah, no problems with Ford at all today. And Gavi, I thought he was really good today as well. He was connecting pretty well and winning the ball back where we needed, putting pressure on where we needed, and looked comfortable again in a way we haven't seen a ton this season from him. And we really want to see him be more comfortable. But boys, we have won the league. That's the big takeaway here. Visca Barça, thank you for watching. And if you guys do want to hear me yap more, I did a video yesterday about the Travis Scott collab because I just think it was so sick. So click on that right here. And if you want to watch anything else, click on here for whatever YouTube thinks you'll be interested in. I'll see you in the next one, boys. Peace, everybody. I'm going to be live again, I think, for the Villarreal match on Sunday. So be there, and I'll see you later. Peace, everybody.